15-1, so he's got that on lock. Then Lamar has more total yards, touchdowns, and a better passer rating than everybody else. Burrow has some stellar numbers, but not the wins, obviously. He's under 500. And Josh Allen doesn't have the lead in any statistical category, but he does have some sick highlights. So, 3 guys can make it. Who's going to be the odd man out?
All right, so I think 2 guys have to be locks, and I think those 2 might surprise people. I think Lamar is a lock.
Okay.
He is having what's the 4th highest passer rating of all time.
Now it's second.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we'll see where it lands for the year. But from a passer rating, which isn't everything, but it's something, and we all like it as a kind of catch-all. Right. An all-time great season. They have played as tough of a schedule as anybody, as many playoff teams as anyone in the league. As many as Kansas City, I think 8 games against playoff teams, maybe 9 games against playoff teams for Baltimore. And he adds the rushing dynamic to go along with the passing. The other lock is Mahomes. Mahomes has been a Pro Bowler every year of his career. Where the legacy plays in is he is the 2-time defending Super Bowl MVP who this season has, despite the offense being ravaged by injury as much as any team in the league, leads the league in fourth-quarter comebacks, leads the league in game-winning drives with 7, but as many game-winning drives as Burrow has wins total, and he is, the last 9 weeks, played just about as well as any quarterback in football. 18 touchdowns, 2 picks, that's over half the season. So it comes down to Burrow versus Josh Allen. And while I think Josh Allen's the MVP, I think Joe Burrow should get the Pro Bowl spot.
That can't.
Wow.
That
doesn't make sense.
Well, can I tell you why it makes sense entirely? It's this because the reason that we value the team record in MVP is because it's most valuable player. Offensive player of the year, rookie of the year, those things don't have that word in it and don't have that your team has to be winning connotation. They are individual awards based on individual excellence. I think Burrow, we put him next to Allen, you just kind of did it, individually has been statistically, I think we can put him next to Allen, has been statistically superior. And so they are different categories to me, Pro Bowl and most valuable player. And so my 3 AFC Pro Bowl quarterbacks would be Patrick, Lamar, and Joe, and Josh Allen might be league MVP. And by the way, last year, Josh Allen got the only MVP vote of anybody, first place MVP vote, other than Lamar. He got the only one. It was 49 for Lamar, 1 for him, and he was not a Pro Bowler. So there is some precedent for the fact that those are 2 different categories the way they're looked at. Tua was a Pro Bowler along with Lamar and Patrick.
I think the thing is, and I'm a voter for the NBA MVP, we don't take that word valuable literally. You know, we kind of look at it the most outstanding player on one of the best teams.
But don't you think in the NFL they clearly do, and that's why quarterbacks win it every year? Because it's the valuable part of it?
I think we've just started to overvalue the quarterback. But I just don't see how you can be MVP and not make the Pro Bowl. But my picks would be starter, Lamar. Second team, Josh Allen. Third, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. You got it with the 50 wins. I mean, Joe Burrow doesn't even have a winning record. And look, you're nitpicking when you talk about these guys being so great. Here's the biggest nit that all of them have to pick. It's just one game. But Joe Burrow losing to the Patriots and throwing no touchdowns could cost them the playoffs. I can't find a nit like that on anybody else's resume.
The Ravens lost to the Raiders.
Yeah,
and the
but
Browns.
it didn't cost them the playoffs.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
And Lamar had a bad defense for most of the season, too. And so I Burrow would be the odd man out for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. Burrow, to me, is the odd man out. And when you look at it, the statistics are great, but he's also got 2 pretty impressive weapons.
Yes, the best weapons of
Derrick Henry's.
I mean, as far as receivers.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, if we're talking about passing yards in the passing game, he's got 2 lethal guys. So I think that helps him significantly. And it's just the Pro Bowl voting in general is pretty chaotic. I don't think it's a great science. I've been in plenty of those rooms where we voted for Pro Bowls and guys are like, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Don't vote for this guy. It's not as scientific as we may like it to be. In choosing, if I wanted to choose these quarterbacks, I would take Patrick Mahomes first if I was starting a team. If I was playing against Patrick Mahomes, I want Joe Burrow. And in the regular season, I'd probably want Lamar in terms of.
So the guy you didn't mention is Josh.
I know, but Josh.
So is Josh the guy you leaving off?
No, but here's why I think Josh should be in, is because the amount of weapons that left his team and the things that he had to overcome this season in terms of a starting point, I think are significantly more than these other guys.
So can I say something about that? Because, and again, this is one of the reasons I thought the Bills were going to be good. As far as guys leaving the team, on the offensive side of the ball, it's really just Diggs. And Diggs last year left the team seemingly around week 6. When they stopped targeting him.
It was guys that accounted for over 50% of the catches.
Yeah, but it was.
Well, they did lose the other.
But I mean, they have both the tight ends. They have the same running back. They have the best offensive line he's had. Shakir. They spent a high draft pick on Keon Coleman, who's been maybe a little disappointing given how he started the year. Here's the other piece of it for Josh. If we can put how these guys have played against each other, and I'll ask you, Wilds, so the record's a killer, obviously, for Joe. But Joe and Lamar have been head and shoulders when playing, amongst the group. This is when these teams have played each other. Patrick is a clear bronze medalist, and Josh is a clear 4th place. Now, he did, of course, create the one loss on the Chiefs column all season. And
You have Josh. Why is Josh in a clear 4th?
Passer rating.
Well, I mean, he's
2 touchdowns.
Oh,
he has the worst touchdown interception ratio.
Oh.
He has the worst passer rating, and he has the 2nd worst win percentage.
The other guy's winless. If Burrow's winless, I put him in last place.
And when you look at it.
So can I respond to that?
Saying these 3 other guys all have significantly. They have significant weapons with them. Who's Josh's significant weapon?
No, that's
so like Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase, and then.
No, which is why I think he's been the most valuable player, but I don't think he's had the best year. And as far as the win thing, this is where. So you can't 1-to-1 Josh's loss to Baltimore with either of Burrow's losses to Baltimore, right? I know, Burrow lost to Baltimore twice. Once in overtime, once it came down to the final, came down to a 2-point, conversion, and he was an A- or better in both of them. Yes. And that Josh game was Brew will never let us forget it, 35-10. So you think it's clear cut? It has to be Burrow.
Not only that, but I think Patrick Mahomes is being penalized for having a good defense. I feel like if you go out to dinner with Patrick Mahomes and you just started telling the truth, maybe I would speak for him. Dude, you could put up those numbers if the defense was terrible and you had to throw the ball like Joe Burrow. If Cincinnati's defense was as good as Kansas City's defense, Joe Burrow I'll throw 3 touchdowns and win. 21-18, that's fine. The best way to win MVP, and I don't think this is a good precedent, is have a god-awful defense and then just have to sling.
Which is how Patrick did it early on.
And sling it around
that
over the place.
His first one.
But that's the way to do it. I have to score 4 touchdowns a game.
But last year, Lamar had the best defense in the league.
Yes.
I'm just saying it's a path. To having a horrible defense.
Mahomes could do it, but most guys couldn't do that.
I know, but having a horrible defense it should not be a plus for you in the MVP
so what
race,
do you?
Which it is for Joe Burrow.
Nobody's left Mahomes off. You left Burrow off, right?
Yeah.
I left Burrow off.
Obviously.
Are you okay?
You got to win games.
Are you making an argument though for Mahomes as MVP? Because that's what it sounds like.
Mahomes has no argument for MVP. Except for the fact that he's the most valuable player. Outside of that, the guy has no argument. He has no leg to stand on.
He's the best player.
That is, and the most valuable. That is the best way to put it. You're absolutely right.
He's not the MVP. He is the most valuable player. Chris, who do you got in this one?
I got the Packers. They need this one. As much as I like them, and
why do you think they need it?
Well, they haven't beaten. Any of the Philly beat them once.
Detroit
twice, and Minnesota once. And I like them, and I have liked them better than Minnesota. So I got them right up there with the other Detroit and Philly. But that first game they lost to him, that was Jordan Love's first game back from the knee injury. He had no mobility. So he was hit like 10 times, sacked, I think 4 times.
He threw the ball 54 times.
Right. And he couldn't move. Like, now, obviously, first half he had 2 interceptions. They're down 28-0. Then they outscored him 29-3, and he has 4 touchdowns. So he kind of found his groove. But now he'll be more mobile. And as you said, Coach, they give up a lot of passing yards, 3rd most in the league. And here's the thing. They blitz. We know they blitz all day and all night. And he is great against the blitz when? After week 11. Like, he is great. I don't know what it is, but something about week 11 onward, which I like. He peaks at the right time. That's Andy Reid's favorite saying. So here we go. Look at that. 1st in the league in completion, passer rating, and top 3 in yards per pass. That's versus the blitz.
Why are we doing week 11? Just
because that's when he turns it up. He kind of takes his measurement of the teams in the first 10 weeks. Here it is, right here. You know this.
This is the type of stuff that he used to do with the Prince, that you used to be all over him.
No, this is different. This is legitimate.
I'm sitting right here.
This is wild. You think this is legitimate? He gets better when coach. You want to peak at the right time, right?
Okay. Just week 11, like it takes him 10 weeks to be like,
he's just taking his measurement, kind of practicing, as some people might say.
They don't. Those other teams don't have the right to do that. Go ahead.
I think it's also a little bit of them figuring out what to do with Jordan Love, and that's a problem. So he didn't do really well early last season. Then he lit it up late. Then he got the big contract. Then they start out the year.
This year he did get hurt early in the season, which probably hurts.
No, I understand, but really the key number is 30. So he needs to be under 30 attempts, 30 or less. So when he's over 30, he's 2-3, and he's 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Okay, that's a problem. So once he goes over, or under 30, he's at 7-1. So they need to keep him there. That's kind of the space, and we've talked about this before. This game's going to come down to turnovers. Last game, there's 7 combined turnovers. Both teams are great at takeaways. Both teams are great at sacks. So it's going to be who manages that aspect better. And I think Green Bay has a real edge in the running game, and that's going to help them because they have more balance than Minnesota does. But keep them under that 30 number. Still hit the bet that I talked about earlier, so he gets the most yards of that group of guys and win the game.
Can I pitch something to you?
Yeah.
And I'm playing with fire here because I'm going up against this coach. Josh Jacobs, the last game, had 9 carries for 51 yards, the fewest carries of the year. Vikings rush defense, second best, only 87 yards, giving up 87 yards per game. I know you're not a Vikings guy, but you want to go with the Vikings here?
Well, so here's the deal. You guys have been gassing up Danny Parkins so much. I saw this morning one of his picks is the Packers. Somehow he gave himself an extra half point plus 1.5. Maybe that's why his record's so good. He's just stealing half points. People aren't noticing.
Is anyone fact-checking?
Exactly. Someone do an audit. Who is he getting these from? Bodog? But regardless,
offshore
this
betting.
game will be featured prominently in Nick's picks. So stay tuned. About a half hour.
Love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going with the Vikings. I wear purple.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.